Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hello and blessings to all of you. Wow, it's been such a weird time, not been, is such a weird time for me right now. Thank you for everyone who's reaching out to me at this time. It's a really weird one. I am in lockdown again. I'm in lockdown 7.0. This is lockdown 7 and I live in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. It's a really hard time for me at the moment mentally. My moods are really up and down. A lot of people have been very worried about me. I'm worried about me. What I would say, if you're watching this video, I'm not okay right now, but I will be okay. I'm just going to leave it at that. All right. So if you're DMing me and you're messaging me nonstop, I just want to say, please just give me some space. I'm not really with it right now. And it's a very inflammatory time here in Melbourne and in Sydney and in Australia. Over half of our country is in some form of a lockdown. A lot of small businesses are no longer supported by the government. A lot of businesses are collapsing. There's a lot of upheaval going on with the police and just a lot of this vaccinations, anti-vaccinations. It's just crazy. So I'm just here and I'm doing this video today because I wanted to do something that makes me feel good because I really enjoy doing these videos. But in terms of like being available for everyone all the time at this time right now, replying to messages, I just need some space. I just need to process what I'm going to do, where I'm going, because I'm at that stage now where a big shift is coming for me, and I've got a Saturn return coming up. So yeah, I'm thinking now, what do I do? Like, do I move house? Do I leave? Where do I go? Like, that kind of stuff is now starting to really drop into my consciousness. So yeah, please just bear with me. I might do a few videos or I may not do a few videos. I don't know what my upload schedule is. I'm supposed to be working on my kids' book series, but at the moment that's been really up and down. So everything is just really fucking up and down right now. And just trying to hold myself together. The energy out there is fucking cutthroat, and it's not going to get better either. So at this time, so that being said, thank you for tuning in. I have my tea today and we are looking at my favorite planet. I'm so excited to be talking about the beautiful planet Venus. Look at this beautiful butterfly. I made a print. I used to send these off actually in my tarot deck when I was selling my first edition. I made these butterflies and I put them in as a little thank you note. So it's really sweet. I've dressed up my little altar space here today. Very Venus-like. I feel this is very Venus, and you know, Venus is like my go-to planet. It's really, it feels like home. And yeah, anyway. So I don't know how long this video is going to go for. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to talk and we'll see where it goes. If you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. It helps me out. Please put a comment below. Let me know where your Venus is in your chart. If you know, I'll leave a Venus or a moon calculator in the description below. So if you don't know, you can just click on that, put that into your URL, and you can go find out where your Venus is or what sign your Venus is in. And it might be able to help you understand a bit more about yourself. And that's why I'm doing these videos, because yeah, it's fun to, you know, just share some of the stuff that I've learned. And I really appreciate that you guys are, you know, bearing with me. So I'm being up and honest with you guys. So let's get on with the video. Astrologically, Venus is a very Saturnal planet, and it's a very important planet for me. And I'm going to talk more about what it means to me. Then I think we're going to talk about what the planet does in relation to our planet, like on a physiological level. And then I'm going to share my thoughts on a bit of like where your placement would be, how that would actually really work for you given whatever your sun sign is. So I would say first up that Venus is, when I'm looking at someone's chart and I'm trying to do a report for somebody on their natal chart, more than worrying about the moon sign, which we looked at before in my last video, more than worrying about the sun sign, I want to know where the fuck their Venus is. Where is your Venus in your chart? Venus is so crucial to figuring out who you are. Venus is your outer world, and your moon sign is your most private, inner reflective world. Okay, so we looked at the moon sign, inner world. Venus is your outer world. And this is how we connect to everything. It's how we relate to everything. It's how we present ourselves to the world. It's our aesthetic. That is what our Venus is. And this, I believe that if people could understand where their Venus is when it comes to their chart, and they worked with their Venus, they would be so much happier if you could figure out how to make that happen. And so that being said, we are the universe. The universe is a part of us. It's inside of us. Even on a cellular level, scientists have said, and we know that even the placement of like you've got the cell and you've got the nucleus and the mitochondria and you've got all these little things, that little, parts that make up the DNA of who we are. And by the way, DNA is a code. The placement of those things inside the cell is actually very similarly placed in correlation to the spheres of all of the planets that circulate around the sun in our own solar system. It's like, what? So if that's not proof that we are connected to what's happening out there in the cosmos, I don't know what the fuck is. That's incredible. So we are consciousness trying to understand itself. And so I'm going to keep this really simple. The universe was formed in one solid thing, and it needed to see itself outside of itself to understand what it was. So it fragmented, it exploded. And some people call this the Big Bang Theory, when everything exploded. Now what's happening is the universe is trying to regain integration, and it's trying to reform itself into one thing again. So the point of existence is not, well, the point of existence is two things. It's fragmentation and integration. Okay, so basically one of the mirroring laws, or the main law that functions in this time-space reality, is the law of resonance, which is the law of attraction. So everything is trying to get back to its oneness, back to its natural state. And that is kind of what it is. So we are fractals of source that's come down and splintered, like the sun. Say if the sun was a solid thing and it's projecting out all this light, little rays of light would be what we would call soul. And that soul has come down to have the human experience in the 3D density, which is planet Earth here in this density, in this dimension that we are having now as a human spirit, as a human being in a, here's my hand. I'm in a meat sack. I'm bound to the laws of the physical reality, the law of gravity, the law of conservation of energy. And there's all these fundamental Hermetic principles which you can research. And I've been researching very hard lately and really looking at Venus. And that's why I wanted to do this video. Something is happening with Venus right now. And I don't know, right now I'm a little bit under the weather, so I'm not fully on top of what is going on here, but there is some kind of overlap energetic thing that's happening with Venus in conjunction with planet Earth. And I hear that this does happen around once every 100 years, and I feel like it's happening now. Now, this could be a really good thing, because if you guys don't already know, Venus is the sister planet to our planet, planet Earth. Okay? And these two are going in and out, and they're fluctuating and rotating in a rhythm that is cosmic. This is cosmology, yeah? And so the vibrational frequency goes up, which we refer to as the golden age. And it also has a time where it can go down, where it's referred to as the dark age. And we are heading into some kind of shift that is occurring here. And it's been really, really prevalent in my dreams, in my thoughts, and just the energetic pull that's happening on this planet right now. And it is coming from Venus. And that is really interesting because Venus in science, and from what we know, is the astral ethereal mirror to our planet, planet Earth. And so Venus is what some scientists or astrologers refer to as the elder sister of Earth. So Venus's power, the power center of Venus that is in connection, in conjunction to planet Earth, is the North Pole at the top of this planet and Antarctica down the bottom as well. And the Earth that we are on, that we live on here, that we're a part of, because we're a part of it, we're an extension of it, has an etheric body which shows light. And we see that at the top of the North Pole when we see something called the aurora, which is all of these colors. So what happens, the power of Venus is so amazing. What it does, it channels frequency from the sun and projects this into our planet, which filters down light and brings us color. It plays a part in the color of this, of how we see of this planet, which is really, really interesting. And I've been looking into this and I'm finding it so fascinating that this is so incredible. And over the next few years, we are going to see, which I think we already are, particularly if you're in the States, there is so much more disclosure that is going on around Venus and around these agencies or these scientific bodies that exist through the government that are releasing all this information about UFOs and about planets. And it's like this stuff is kind of coming to light, and it's really, really interesting. So I don't know if they're aware of it or whether it's related to some kind of portal. I don't know, but I actually feel like when I try and channel it, I get kind of knocked off course. It's like there's some kind of protection thing around it, which is preventing me. Maybe it's because I'm just dealing with a lot of stuff in my life right now. I don't know. But yeah, something is definitely happening. And I feel that, from my understanding, there's some kind of gateway which is happening between Venus and this planet. And I also see that they reckon over 3 billion years ago, Venus sustained life. It was basically a mirror planet to our planet now. And so it's kind of serving as a warning about what actually took place there and what went wrong. What is this a future lesson for us to learn about what we're doing to our Earth here? Did some other beings live on Venus before and then ended up the way the planet looks now? And the planet Venus itself, back from the day when people were watching it, it is a planet that is scary and it's full of rocks. The atmospheric pressure is incredibly volcanic. And it's just full of these giant big valleys and canyons with liquid kind of lava substances. And it's like incredible. The atmospheric pressure in Venus is so strong, it would crush you into like dust. And the atmosphere is protected, very similar to our Earth, by these clouds that move very, very fast and kind of protect it. Which in a cosmology, look at it in terms of astrology, it's an internal energy. It's not looking outwards, it's looking inwards into itself. So that's one thing I've been looking at as well. And a lot of Sumerian priests and soothsayers and kind of wizard type people that were interested in, all of this, they understood that Venus was one of the most closest and powerful planets. And it's very, very similar to its rhythms of planet Earth. Venus is a mirror to that. And we know that it harbored some kind of life form on it many years ago. It's one of those mysteries that we're trying to understand about our own solar system. And it also rotates very similar at the same axis, but in reverse to our planet as well. So it's another thing that's really interesting. And over the years, we obviously associate Venus with Trubali's, I think it's Truvali, I'm not sure. I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry, it's Greek or it's Italian, but it's the birth of Venus we see in the traditional sense, which would be Eretite, which was god of sex, god of power, god of creation. And that kind of transferred down into Greek mythology, into Venus or into Aphrodite. And I think that's why I'm so interested in this planet, because it is creation, it's birth, it's physical attraction. And in itself, it is really kind of venturing into the unknown potentials of making something, creating something. So it's just so interesting, and I've really enjoyed reading up about Venus. I'm really finding this really fascinating, and yeah, it's so interesting. All of the failed missions that have gone to Venus that have all kind of failed, or they've come back and they didn't do what they were meant to do. It's very hard to get any type of probe that can circulate around its atmosphere just to gauge more information on its surface and do it like a map where it can see where all the craters were. But it's very similar, and we can see that there were oceans there, and the oceans that back 3 billion years ago would have been warm enough to house kind of probably more like dinosaur creatures of some kind, I would say, from what I've been told. But yeah, it was very prevalent. Venus is very prevalent to the Aztecs and to the Mayans. They had a lot of totems that were basically a deity to Venus. And Venus is the brightest and the most beautiful star, or the most beautiful planet. And we tend to only see Venus when it's on either side of the horizon. We don't tend to see it up in the middle at the top. So there were a lot of dreams and cultures and manifestations that were very rooted around the power of Venus and watching its orbit of how it moves. And particularly when it goes past that part where it moves past the sun and overlaps. And I think that's what is kind of happening here. And I think Venus has always captured the imaginations of everyone, like writers, authors, creators around the world, when they knew that we are, so similar to, our planet is so similar to Venus. In terms of circumference and size, Earth is very similar to the same size of Venus. And I remember looking at a book years ago that was talking, like a sci-fi book. I was a big sci-fi fan, but I was looking at a lot of books that, looked at like these imageries of like other worlds or other planets that harbored life, like sci-fi, like really prehistoric kind of green jungles with weird animals and stuff like that. And yeah, but anyway, I've always followed like the spacecrafts that have tried to explore it and trying to understand it. Even when I think of the word Venus, even when I say the word, there is some kind of in my mediumship brain, in my astrological, I don't know, like in my spiritual side, my higher self, my celestial self, I guess, there's something about that word Venus. It's beautiful, but it's deadly. It's beautiful, but it's powerful. Something like, I see it as strength. There's a strength to it. And I feel at times, understanding Venus in myself, that there are times when I close my eyes and I see this really beautiful, but yet dark and twisted world. And I don't know, what do you feel when you see it? Like, let me know what you know. Like, let me know if you know anything more about Venus and what your thoughts are on this planet, because Venus has a profound effect on me, particularly, and my psyche. Well, it does for all of us. All of the spheres from Jupiter, like, Uranus, Mercury, Pluto, they're all interconnected to who we are. And yeah, like if you guys think that these planets that are out there are just like rocks that we can, mine, or we can kind of just, like, they're just sitting there and they're floating up in space and there's no more important to anything else. Like, it's just not the case. Like, these planets play a very like a pivotal role in the makeup of who we are. Everything on this planet is connected. Everything, like the gravitational pull, the way the ocean moves, the currents, the flow, everything is interconnected on such a level, and it's all influenced by space, by the planets of our solar system. And fractals of those planets are down and come into us and are a vibrational extension of us. That's why, like when we look at Capricorn, we look at Saturn, and we look at the trait of the planet, and it directly correlates with a lot of the fingalities and the psyches of that particular sun sign or that particular moon sign in Capricorn. So there's so much to it, and I mean, I'm just trying to like lightly kind of surface over the top, surface over the top of a lot of this stuff. But I really feel that there's so much to be learnt about us from the planets, particularly this planet. And yeah, it's just so interesting. Yeah. So yeah, your when it comes to the astrological element of the sign Venus, I think of the Empress card, which is in the tarot, which actually this, I'm not sure if I'll bring it nice and close so you can see. This is not my favorite depiction of the Empress card in the tarot, but I really do appreciate it. I like it a lot. This is the Lescabro tarot, by the way. That's the backing there. Very, very beautiful imagery, by the way. There's the magician. So you can see there. But I really enjoyed, there's Aries, the Emperor, but I really enjoyed the interpretation of this deck. Just off the subject, by the way, it's a really good deck to work with. But the Venus energy in the pregnant woman is what we are looking at here, which is fertility and creation. And the womb, it's the divine feminine, and that in itself is powerful. The power of the inner mother. It's a very Saturnal energy that is about possession and materialism and beauty. And that's kind of the thing. A really good reference for a film to go watch if you're watching this now, if I'm not sure if I've mentioned in previous videos, would be Darren Aronofsky's Mother with Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem. It's a really powerful film which explores the concept of mother, very Venus, very planet Venus, and a very powerful, powerful film. By the way, not for the faint-hearted, but that would be a very powerful relation to the planet Venus. And I really enjoy this planet. And it's said that the ruling planet of Taurus was originally planet Earth. But that would make sense because the ruling planet of Venus is the ruling planet of Taurus. So the Earth and Taurus, yet again, that twin energy that's going on there. And it always seems like there's this homeostasis which is always going on between the two planets, where it's like yin and yang. One is expanding and one is contracting, and it works in this rhythm. Some things go up, things go down, the rise and fall. And I think it's definitely connected to time-space reality, where linear time is moving and a moment as time passes is like a petal or a flower, kind of like this rose, this like fake rose. I know it's fake, but you get the point. The rose is blooming, and as it kind of like opens up, the petals fall off the rose, and that would be a moment in time that has passed, and then a new moment comes through. That is very Venus. It's cycles of life and death on this planet, and that's just, isn't that just like amazing? And I just think to myself, like, I love Venus. Like, it is, I can't say that enough. It's just such a powerful planet for me, and its relationship to myself, I guess. I'm sure if you knew me in like physically, like if you came to my house, you would see all of the witchy things that I've collected, all of the things, like I've got skulls and bones and like butterflies and deer antlers and lots of things that are of this world. I collect a lot of natural beauty, like natural history, natural things. I don't know, like like I'm a witch. I was drawn that way. Maybe I'll do a video talking about my witchiness and how I kind of got to where I am now with all this. If you'd like to ask me anything, you can, leave it in the comments, and I'll think about doing a video. Anyway, so Venus is a higher dimensional frequency to planet Earth, and it is mirroring planet Earth. I know that sounds so out there, but it really is. And that's what's happening with us right now in our celestial bodies. And yeah, it's like, I also think of like the protection that Venus has around it. It has like very strong sulfuric acid around the planet itself, which kind of guards it like a shield. It's so beautiful to look at, like when you look at photos of the planet itself. But I kind of see the similarity to it being like a Venus flytrap. Like it's beautiful but deadly. And I feel like that's kind of my aesthetic. Like I like even this cobra, like my totem animal, by the way, is the cobra. And this is a gift that a beautiful friend of mine from France sent me. Hello, Angel. She sent this to me. Hello, if you're watching. But yeah, I like things that are beautiful and deadly. I like beautiful things that are powerful and have an element of strength to them. And Venus is the embodiment of that. So if you're feeling weak and you're feeling like you need a pick-me-up, maybe, you know, channel some of that Venus energy, you know, pull Venus into you. Pull it in, and well, not pull it into you because it's already a part of you, but remind yourself that you're an extension of Source itself, and you're an extension of the beauty that is Venus and the planets. Like birds, think birds, creation, rocks, minerals, things like that, like Mother Earth, Gaia. Like that's the type of energy that, you know, you're a part of that. Go ground yourself. If you're feeling low, I would, you know, go out and put your hands in the dirt, go stand on the grass. Like it just centers you, trying to like, particularly at this time right now, one of the things that I do a lot, when I'm having a meltdown, and I'm not gonna lie, I have them all the time. I have a lot of like ups and downs, like really hardcore ups and really hardcore downs. I'm not bipolar, but yeah, like when I'm down, I'm kind of aware of how I get myself off the edge of that, or how I talk myself out of that, or how I try and frequently move myself. Like I might go for a run, or I might have a cold shower to try and shift my frequency alchemically. A good tip, if you're listening now, would be, if you're feeling like you're in a bad funk, go have a cold shower. It just reboots you. Like your brain alchemy can be shifted. Or one of the things that I'm doing a lot now in lockdown is I have a bathtub, so I will just run the bath, and I'll just get in the bath and just kind of, I think it's kind of like going back to the womb. It's probably a part of my womb trauma, but going and, you know, being in a warm bath with liquid, it's something that kind of makes you feel contained. It's calming, it's settling. And that to me would be Venus energy right there. Very much so, this symbol of Venus. And the symbol of Venus itself is really interesting because when we look up the cross, it's called, I think the symbol itself is called the symbol of Venus, is these two crosses that are having an interconnected relationship. So when we see the symbol for male and female, we see the circle and one's pointing up and one's pointing down. But if you turn them around the other way, the symbol for Venus is this kind of, the male and the female are both pointing and touching, and then there's a circle in the middle, or there's a circle on the outer side. That is Venus. So it's kind of like, I don't see this planet. I do see Venus as a female, as I see Earth as a female as well. They're both sisters. But I also see a lot of strength and masculinity also in Venus as well. There is strength in vulnerability. There is strength in being receptive. There is strength there. Don't think of Mars. A lot of people, that's saying where they go, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Like that's true. Like males and females physiologically are different, but I don't think that souls have genders. And I don't really give a fuck like what your gender is. If you want to reach out and connect to the power of Venus, you can. It's within you. So just get in that frequency and get grounded, because you know, it's going to really help you out there a lot. So yeah. But yeah, I think that's probably a little bit about Venus. Let's talk about astrologically, about how Venus affects you astrologically. Now, Venus would come into play with a lot of what we would call love language. So how you're received by other people and how you want to be received by other people. So the parts of you that you put out into the world to be seen, to be taken, to be interpreted by other people. And I'm a really big believer, and it's really interesting actually, just thinking on that point there, is that Libra is governed by Venus, as Taurus is. And I see Libra, and I mentioned this in my dark side of the Libra video, they're very interested in the aesthetic of something. Like this sign is very aesthetic based. So it's, if you don't know who you really are, how your interpretation is received by other is how you interact back with that. And that can be a really positive thing and a really negative thing in terms of like sociology, because how we are viewed by others is also how we are interacted with, which is how we view ourselves, which is fundamentally the epitome of what I'm talking about in this video when it comes to your Venus. So it's how your you're individualized, but also how you're seen as a whole, and that's why it's so important to understand connection, because all of our love languages are so different. Some people need constant validation verbally. Some people need you to do physical things for them. Some people need to fuck all the time. They need that. They see sex as a consummation of union that they don't want to break. Some people see consummation of union as being intellectually matched, like a Virgo might or an Aquarius might. So we all have different love languages, and finding out where your Venus is going to show me how I can connect to you on a love level. And love fundamentally is what I was saying at the start of the video. It's integration. It's a part of you seeing a part of me seeing a part of you in me. If that makes sense. And on the subject of that, when people say opposites attract, I do not agree with that at all. That is completely wrong. I disagree. Attraction attracts. So in order for us to want to integrate something into us, we have to see something in that thing that we want to bring closer to us. So the things that we push away, the traits that we push away in others that we don't want to be a part of us, are the parts of us that we're rejecting in ourselves. And that's what my kids' book's going to be about. I'm looking at this concept of I can't hurt someone else without hurting myself. I can't punch someone without punching. My fist is going to get punched too. It's a two-way thing there. But yeah, I'm not sure if I mentioned there before, Libra gets very caught up in how it's perceived by others, and it, rather than doing the inner work to understand its own self, it just kind of plays the character that others want it to play. So it could be just wearing a mask, which doesn't really work long-term for Libra, because there's no individualization underneath that. You can't play a character all the time. People will only fall in love with the mask. They won't fall in love with you. And that could be something that a Libra can definitely fall under. So if your Capricorn was in, say, Venus, then you would need to feel secure through money. You would need someone who can work with you as a teammate. You would need someone who can show up on time, be organized, and is very solution orientated. That would be how you would receive love. If you were coming out of a breakup and you were a Capricorn, and so if you're coming up out of a breakup and your Capricorn was in Venus, then that might mean that you may need, rather than just sitting at home and crying it out like a Pisces might or a Scorpio might and being very internal, it could kind of indicate that you need to be really physical. You need to get into work. You need to get into work mode. That's how you're going to get through this. You're just going to do the work and keep your mind active and do physical things that will burn you out. Same with an Aries. An Aries, if your Venus is in Aries, then you will need a partner that is going to energize you, going to get up early. We're going to go for a run. We're going to go for, hey babe, it's time to get up. Let's go for our swim. Let's go swim in the ocean. Let's go for a hike. It's going to be very physical. And if your Venus is in Aries, then you're probably not wanting to really like texting and messaging and ping pong chatting and fucking around. You want to seal the deal. You want to know, this is my partner. We're together. You kind of are with me now. This is where we're moving on a plan. We're doing this. That would be like a Venus in Aries. And just that excitement, needing to keep things spicy all the time and spontaneity, not necessarily always focused on monogamy. If your Venus was in Aries, it would be more like a partnership where you're very experimental. Also, if your Venus was in, say, Sagittarius, then you'd be very philosophical. And you may need a lot of your partner to really deeply understand your perception of the world. That's how you would feel seen and integrated and secure, is that someone can understand you intellectually and and really match their moral code has to match your moral code, so that you can kind of come in closer into the middle to really speak that love language. And also Sagittarians love that adventure as well. But a dark side of a Sagittarian in relationship could mean that they just don't want to commit. They just want to be free all the time. They see a partnership as being trapped. So yeah, a lot of different, I won't go into every single sign and give examples, but yeah, in your chart, it would be very important to see where your Venus is. It's very, very important. And it would be really interesting to see if your Venus was in Taurus and your Sun was in Taurus. That would be really fascinating, because you've got two ruling, like the ruling planet of you really would be Venus then. So it would be like all about love, romance, bubble baths, gifts, being sensual, being showered with affection, like very dramatic, very indulgent of the senses, like food and strawberries and candles and music, soft music, like all that type of stuff would really turn you on if that was where your Venus was. So finding out, just, I can't say this enough, more than anything, we need to know where the fuck your Venus is, because when we do that, then we can move forward into understanding how we can achieve integration for you. And that's what I was saying at the start. When you look at your birth chart, or when I'm looking at someone else's birth chart, to know how these people relate to other people, and in their environment, because fundamentally we're just creatures of our own experiences based off our environment, whether that comes down to what we're interested in, our relatability, our sexuality, it's all interconnected from that. So Venus is your environment. So when I come to your house and your house is filthy, if you don't take good care of your house and your own space, that's going to indicate kind of how you see yourself. I've always said that you must take care of yourself. And a lot of people don't like hearing this, but what you look like on an external level is in direct correlation to what you're doing in your physiological body. So for example, I just did upper body weights all the time, then I would build up my upper body and I'd have these bigger arms, but I may not necessarily have big legs because I haven't been working out that part of my body, which would physiologically show outwards to the world and be interpreted. So does that make sense? So, the respect that you have for your own temple, your own body, is very important in Venus, because it's going to be how others are going to want to date you, court you, receive you. Your projection is everything, fundamentally, more so than anything in this world. So understanding your projection and having that projection come from a very specific place that is of truth. You've got to be willing to tell the truth. Like I said, I don't bother with people that don't know themselves. I do not bother with people that can't understand me. If you can't understand me, we can't connect. And that might sometimes mean that you're not in a place for me to receive you, or it might be that I'm not in a place where I want to receive you. And that's just truth. Also as well, astrologically, I was thinking the other day, and let me know what you think about this below. I think of, we talked about astrological DNA and how the planets are very correlated to the cells on our body and stuff like that. But I was also thinking about how DNA in itself is a code. It's a code that is passed down. And I'm very big believer in traumatic stuff from your mother went into you, and her wound went into you, and we're all kind of healing each other through each other. We're all mirrors to each other kind of thing. But on a DNA, like an astrological level, I feel like some signs are just naturally stronger than others, depending on where their environment is. I definitely feel that is the case. And I often see a lot of what would I say? How do I word it? Mismatchy frequencies that are all kind of stuck together in a family. And so it could be like you've got this kind of scientific Virgo parents and you're this kind of free-spirited Sagittarius artist that is just not going to be very compatible with that family. But it's kind of like when we come down, I believe when we come down and we choose our parents, we choose our mother, we can see through all of the types and patterns that are all swirling in this kind of demiurge energy. We can see what would be the experience to be born to this particular person, and we come down and we incarnate, and the spirit has this transmutation in the womb where it becomes cells become a clump, and it becomes a fetus, and the fetus is birthed. And so those experiences, it's all connected. But yeah, that's my take on it. So believe it or not, we chose it. I know it's so hard to believe, but we really did. We really, really did. I know that I did. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I mean, I'm really enjoying talking about Venus. Please have a look and see where your Venus is and understand and try to make sense of it. If you want to ask me a question, DM me on Instagram, or you can find your Venus calculator and leave a comment below and letting me know where you are in your Venus. It'd be very interesting to know. But yeah, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Venus, I can't say it, I just love saying that word. I might do some videos in the future talking about all of the other planets as well. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see how we go. Like I said, I just don't know what I'm doing right now. So I'm here, but I'm not. I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of like surrendering to the process right now that's happening in my country, in my internal world, and just navigating that as best as I can to show up. But I can't show up for you if I can't show up for myself. So I just need some time to deal with that, and that's just what's happening for me right now. And it's better that I'm just being honest with you. So I will leave it here today. I think I may start doing my sun-sided videos soon, or I might even do some more videos unpacking my thoughts on time, linear time, or I might do a video on Jupiter. I'm not sure yet, but I will see you in the next video. And please share and subscribe if you found this video insightful. I really appreciate. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know, did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? What's your thoughts on Venus? I will see you soon, and I wish you the absolute best. Please be safe at this time. And yeah, okay. Bye.